The truth is stranger than fiction, my God. So when you decided to break the ice, blow the whistle, what was their initial reaction? How did they, ACORN, find out? And as Larry said here, I'm here with Anita MonCrief, a former ACORN employee and whistleblower and American hero. When they found out that you were blowing the whistle, what was that first message from them to you like?
It was, it came through intermediaries.
Okay.
I had people telling me things where they're going to say you're this, and they're going to call you this nurse, and they called me a clerk and a low-level employee and all kinds of things. But I think they were surprised. They never thought that I would be the one to come forward because I was such a believer.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the problem,
and
because
so
I wanted a better world.
So yeah, absolutely, and I think we all do it. I think President Obama, honestly, I spent a lot of time criticizing the man and his policies. I think he's a good man, a good father. I think he's got 2 beautiful children. I think he's surrounded by very bad people. I also think he's opportunistic and wants the power associated with the presidency, but he was such an amazing campaigner. Bill Clinton was the same way back in the 90s. Obama had the charisma, the magic, and he combining that with technology of today, with Twitter and Facebook and the media and the internet and all that, he led a lot of people down that road, but you saw through it because you saw the behind-the-scenes workings that helped create and elect Barack Obama. So you must have been heartbroken when you realized that this corruption was happening.
I really was. I was disgusted because I believed in him. And I told people that I really thought that he just had bad influences. But it was really hard to hold that line of thought when you're looking at his cabinet picks.
Yes.
I saw Leon Panetta, Kathleen Sebelius, who sits in Andy Stern's lap, like right here. And all of these picks, and I knew that it wasn't bad influences. This was him. This was who he was surrounding himself with.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided that I couldn't be a Democrat or a liberal anymore.
Wow.
And I went to CPAC in 2009, and I met conservatives for the first time. And I say for the first time because I've met people, around, but you really never, when you go to a gathering like that and you're expecting racism and people excluding you, and there was none of that. Right. Everyone was nice and welcoming and kind. And at that time, no one really knew me as Anita MonCrief, the ACORN whistleblower. I was just Anita.
Okay.
And so all of the racism that people kept telling me to expect came from the left. Once I left the Democrat Party, they called me a house in. They called me Aunt Jemima, token, all kinds of things. I have never experienced any of that on this side. And I think that's what people need to realize, is that they use that to keep you in your place.
Yes.
And once you step out, they try to pull you back.
Absolutely. It's I don't know how to say it, and the left uses that hate. It's the do as I say, not as I do. They blame others for the things that they do. And according to the left, you don't exist. You're a black conservative. They don't exist, according to Keith Olbermann and Chris Matthews at MSNBC. And here I am. I just got my picture with J.C. Watts. That speech was outstanding, wasn't it? He is an amazing man.
I love J.C. Watts.
Excuse me. So you have been ostracized and cast out by your former community because you decided to stick with the truth and godly values about honesty and doing what's right, and that's very heartbreaking, I'm sure. So they find out, they're mad at you, and now there's a lawsuit, apparently?
Yes, they sued me for $5 million.
5 big ones. Oh, my
God.
And
that was crushing when I first found out. I couldn't even fathom that number.
Yeah.
But everybody has come forward, and they supported me. They gave money through my legal defense fund. And right when we were getting to where we were going to do depositions, ACORN and Project Vote backed out. They didn't want to go forward anymore. They didn't want to fight.
When was this? How long ago was this?
March 25th is when we found out that they wanted to settle the suit, and ACORN was claiming.
2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. And we announced it yesterday. On the 5th, Michelle Malkin did a piece on it today.
Love Michelle Malkin.
We're just getting, we just got it dismissed, and we really learned something. Is that when we pulled in, Project Vote sued me, but we pulled in ACORN in our countersuit, and that's when things changed.
They said, "Whoa, okay, you're smarter than we think. You see all the web and how it's connected." So during this process, you obviously couldn't have been alone. but you're very strong willing to break this down. Who were some of the people that helped you get through this and go through the tears and the anger and the frustration when you thought your world's coming to an end? Who were some of the people that helped you out with this?
Well, there's my immediate family, of course, my fiance, my mom, and my sister. I want to thank them. But also I want to thank Mike Gaynor. He's an independent columnist out of New York. He's been my number one supporter. Michelle Malkin, the Center for Individual Rights. The people that stepped up to say you're not alone. It really was some really great people in D.C. Cleta Mitchell of the Republican National Lawyers Association, Heather Heidelbaugh. They took care of me in those first few days when I didn't know which way to go.
Fantastic. And it's nice to have people like that. So let's go back in time a little bit. So you're from Alabama, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you grew up in a largely Democratic environment, I would think.
Oh, yes. Extremely liberal.
Okay. So now that you've broken out and seen things that are different than what that community is told, the Democratic community is very forced. You know, you deserve what you're getting. And I've seen many people, pundits, talking hosts, things of that sort, saying that there's a pride almost in getting the welfare check or voting Democratic because that's what your family does. As we learned in the last election, I think 95% of blacks voted for Obama, which was an increase from 90% prior. 2/3 of Jews voted for Obama, and they have also historically voted Democrat, despite his horrible treatment towards Israel. So there are categories of people that they're just stuck in tradition. The black community has a historical voting pattern of Democratic. The Jewish community has that vote as well. What can we do, now that you've seen the light, to help educate people of all communities about the truth and how to think for themselves versus believing what they see on TV? What do you think we can do to all the communities out there to help them learn?
Well, that's actually something that I've been trying to work on right now because it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I used to just vote straight down the line.
Right.
Never thought about it. And one of the things is that you have to engage people on what matters to them. What I learned about becoming a conservative is that my core values were more in line with conservatives.
Right.
The things I believed in, the things my family believed in,
Yeah.
I had never questioned it before. But when I started looking at it and just doing it line by line, I was the other way.
Yeah.
Most people never even think when... Like, if you go in Alabama, they try to pass some stuff. Let's use D.C. instead.
Sure.
D.C. They wanted to pass gay marriage, and it did pass there. But a number of people in the black community did not want it because it's not in line with what the black church wants. But they voted with the Democrats anyway because that's who, they think they're supposed to vote.